Satan from both jinn and humans always likes to deceive people by giving them misgivings. Jinns and Satans, these creatures of Allah, have asked for a reprieve to prove that they are better than humans. Seduction of Satan came from various directions, to mislead Prophet Adam to the people of Prophet Muhammad. They do various ways regardless of time and place, even during worship. Even so, on earth there was once a human figure that Satan was most afraid of. Never mind meeting, just passing by this figure, even the devil is afraid, running helter-skelter. This human figure was conveyed by the Prophet directly. Tracing the story of Aisha, the Prophet said, "Surely the devil runs scared when he meets Umar," narrated by Ibn Asakir. In another hadith, the Messenger of Allah said, "O Ibn al-Khattab, by Allah, in whose hand my soul is in the grip of his hand, in fact the devil does not meet you walking on a road unless he will find another path that you do not go through." Meanwhile, in another hadith, the Messenger of Allah said, "Indeed I saw demons from among humans and jinns running away from Umar, Tirmidhi." From these hadiths, you can imagine how very afraid the devil descended from the devil was towards one of the companions of the Prophet. How Umar was so extraordinary in strength that even Satan was reluctant to cross paths with a friend of the Prophet who was nicknamed Al-Faruq, Lion. Known as Umar bin Khattab, the second Rashidun caliph's full name was Umar bin al-Khattab bin Nufail bin Adi bin Abdul Uzza bin Riyah bin Abdullah bin Kurth bin Raza bin Adi bin Ka'b bin Lu'ay, Abu Hafshah al-Adawi. He was nicknamed Al-Faruq. Umar was one of the 4 Islamic caliphs who had a firm and wise character. Umar was also feared by the Quraysh at his time. Umar's harshness was also aimed at the spread of Islam and Muslims. His firmness was even recognized directly by the Prophet. The Prophet said, "My ummah who is the most merciful is Abu Bakr, and the most firm in upholding Allah's religion is Umar." Narrated by Tirmidhi in Al-Manaqib, hadith number 3791. First, Umar bin Khattab is a strong figure. Not only physically, Umar has a very strong faith. Umar bin Khattab's faith in Allah and the Prophet was extraordinarily strong, proven by his love for the Prophet and Islamic teachings. Before converting to Islam, Umar was greatly feared by Muslims. But after converting to Islam, Umar was loved by Muslims and greatly feared by the Kuffar. From Abdullah bin Mas'udi radiyallahu anhu, he said, "We continue to feel high self-esteem since Umar converted to Islam," narrated by Bukhari, number 3863. Second, Umar bin Khattab was a simple and humble figure. Despite having a tall and manly stature, he was awarded by Allah for a tough character and logic. Umar was willing to go around looking for his poor people and donate part of his wealth for the benefit of the Muslims. Umar is a modest figure, likes to patch his clothes with leather, and sometimes carries a bucket on his shoulder. His vehicle is a bareback donkey, so that the Jerusalem priest was amazed when he met him. Umar rarely laughed and joked. Even on his ring there was an inscription, "Death is enough to be a warning for you, O Umar, kafa bil madi wa izan ya Umar." It is not surprising that Umar bin Khattab became a friend of the Prophet who was guaranteed to be a resident of heaven. It was narrated from Said bin al-Musayyab that Abu Hurairah said, "When we were with the Prophet he said, Umar is a modest figure, likes to patch his clothes with leather, and sometimes carries a bucket on his shoulder. His vehicle is a bareback donkey, so that the Jerusalem priest was amazed when he met him." Umar rarely laughed and joked. Even on his ring there was an inscription, "Death is enough to be a warning for you, O Umar, kafa bil madi wa izan ya Umar." It is not surprising that Umar bin Khattab became a friend of the Prophet who was guaranteed to be a resident of heaven. It was narrated from Said bin al-Musayyab that Abu Hurairah said, "When we were with the Prophet he said, while sleeping I dreamed as if I was in heaven. Then I saw a woman doing ablution in a palace, heaven, so I asked, whose palace is this? The women who were there answered, Umar's. Then I remembered Umar's jealousy. I stayed away, not entering the palace. Umar cried and said, how could I be jealous of you, O Messenger of Allah? Bukhari, number 3242, Muslim, number 2395. Third, Umar was one of the companions who loved the Prophet. Umar was gifted with foresight and clarity of thought, so that it was not uncommon for Umar to give ideas to the Prophet in a number of matters. Umar's genius complemented the firmness and simplicity inherent in him. Until then, Umar was juxtaposed with Abu Jahl, who became a respected figure because of his intelligence. It was narrated from Ibn Umar radiyallahu anhuma that the Messenger of Allah prayed, "O Allah, glorify Islam with the one you love more than these two men, Abu Jahl or Umar bin Khattab." The narrator said, "It turns out that the one who is more loved by Allah is Umar." H.R. Tirmidhi, number 3681, Ahmad, 2 hours 95 minutes. Al-Hafiz Abu Tahir said that this hadith is Hasan. In fact, the Prophet also praised Umar bin Khattab, whom he called one of those blessed by Allah because he often received inspiration. It was narrated from Abu Hurairah radiyallahu anhu, Rasulullah said, "Indeed, among those before you there were a number of people who received inspiration. If one of my people gets it, then Umar bin Khattab is the person." Narrated by Bukhari. Don't grieve over what is past, unless it will make you work harder for what is to come. If we are tired because of goodness, then actually the fatigue will disappear and the goodness will last. However, if we have fun with sin, then actually the pleasure will disappear and the sin will be eternal. Reach for knowledge, and to gain knowledge learn to be calm and patient. What misses me will never be my destiny, and what is destined for me will never miss me. I fear that the day will come when those who do not believe will be proud of their lies, while those who believe will be ashamed of their faith. Sometimes the people with the darkest past create the brightest future. A person's crown is his intellect, a person's rank is his religion, while a person's honor is his character. Away from sin is lighter than bearing the pain of regret. Ask Allah for help to help you fight your evil desires, just as you ask for help against your enemies. If you find a gap in someone and you want to scold him, then scold yourself, because you have more gaps than him.